With the news of Mauricio Pochettino, who is said to be interested in the vacant managerial role at Manchester United, so much so that he would even be willing to leave PSG mid-season. This has been all over the UK press today across every back page, so there is much to discuss as we now welcome in Don Hutchison and Julien Laurens to talk more about this very topic. Jules, would he really leave PSG for Manchester United?
Well, I wouldn't, for sure, but it looks like Mauricio Pochettino thinks differently than me. What we know, okay, for sure, is that he's not completely happy in Paris. I think he has struggled a bit to settle in. What the Parisians are making a big deal of is, for example, he's still at the hotel. He's been there 10 months and he hasn't moved into a flat or a house. We know that the rest of the Pochettino family is still in London. So those little details maybe give you a bigger picture of the situation. He's not in good relationship with Leonardo, the PSG sporting director. And also, the most important of all is that United has always been this big dream of his. He's always dreamt of becoming the Manchester United manager one day. Remember the dinners with Sir Alex Ferguson, the fact that 3 years ago, when Solskjaer was only the interim coach at the time, it was also to wait for Pochettino to be able to leave Spurs to come to United. That didn't happen at the time. Maybe now it will be easier for them, but what's for sure is that he definitely wants to go there, and I think as soon as possible as well.
Jules, why didn't they just get him this summer? There's obviously interest from both sides.
Well, instead they preferred giving a new 3-year deal to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe they thought they could not get him because he also got a new deal in Paris, to be fair to him and to the United hierarchy. And maybe they thought after Solskjaer taking his United team to a Europa League final, albeit lost to Villarreal, second place in the Premier League as well. Maybe they thought there was a bit of progress made there and that Solskjaer was in the right place and taking this team forwards. They were wrong, of course, but I don't think it would have been easier to get Poch back in the summer than it would be now or than it would be next summer. I think it's more or less the same. You still have to pay PSG compensation and potentially quite a big amount of money. But I just don't think that changes much. If you want it to happen, it can happen now, I'm sure, but you need to sit down, make a move, and convince everyone from Poch to PSG that this is something that you can make work.
Don, do you think he'd be a good fit at Manchester United, the right man for the job?
I think he would be, Kay. They need someone with a bit of... I think they need someone that can strike a little bit of fear into that dressing room because the lunatics, in my opinion, are running the asylum there. You know, there's no accountability. I was on the Watford game in the weekend, and it was rock bottom for Man United fans watching that. And I think it's unbelievably convenient as well that he's in Manchester preparing PSG for the Man City game. So we can't be naive enough to think that there's not going to have conversations had in the next couple of days. I'm pretty sure that will be the case. And timing's key in football, Kay. I mean, if Pochettino turns around and says to Manchester, "I'll come, but only in the summer," might move on. They might move on to Ten Hag or Zidane. You know, so timing is going to be key. And I'm pretty sure if Man United are serious, and they have to be, one of the biggest clubs in the world, they've got to now make the move. If they want Pochettino in, do it as quick as possible, because I can't imagine a club the size of Man United with 26 games to go in the Premier League and still in the Champions League, going with an interim manager until the end of the season. You're almost writing the season off. It's criminal if that happens.
Shaka, let's say he does get the job. We've seen what's happened with recent managers in recent history at Manchester United. What can he do to change things at United that the others haven't been able to? Well,
the one thing you have to say about Pochettino is he brings good football. That's what you saw at Spurs. He developed a team at Southampton into a decent outfit on far more meager resources. And it's a different project, yes, but I think one that he's prepared for and certainly has the experience to deal with. He'll have a bigger budget. He'll be able to attract better players. And I think it's a good fit. I really do. And especially when you consider what's available or not available, as the case may be, I think Pochettino is where Manchester United need to fix their focus. To Jules's point, if they can somehow come to terms with the PSG hierarchy and whatever they demand, because while they may not be thrilled with the job that Pochettino is doing, they do not want to be seen as being able to be pushed around. You saw that you saw that in the dealings with Mbappe, that they make the final decision. It's not up to you, regardless of what it costs. This is our say. And that, for me, is the highest hurdle for Manchester United to negotiate right now.
So let's say he does come into Manchester United, Stevie. What would his expectations be at this club? What would they be expecting from him?
Well, straight away they would be expecting top four. I don't think it's fair on anybody coming in, regardless of what their name is, that you turn around and say, well, you need to win the Premier League. I think, first and foremost, they have to get in the top four, and it has to be consistent, and then they have to lift the team to a position where every time they step on the field, there's a level of consistency, a level of greatness, because that's what Manchester United ask for and deserve with the size of the club. So, yeah, straight off the bat, it's got to be top four.
Top four this season in the short term. And here's the silly thing about football and the kind of short-term, short memory we have about this game. People see what Tuchel did with Chelsea. And we discussed Manchester United now compared to Chelsea when Tuchel took over last season. I don't think there's that much of a difference. Craig, speaking yesterday, thought that Chelsea were far better. I don't think that there's that much of a difference. I think pound for pound, squad for squad, Manchester United right now can be compared to the Chelsea that Tuchel took over. And in 6 months, he wins the Champions League. And now all of a sudden, you're Manchester United or the new coach is coming in. Because of that short-term nature of the game, people are saying, well, you've got a decent squad there. You've got Champions League winners in Ronaldo and Varane. You've got talent in Sancho. You've got talent in De Gea and Bruno Fernandes. You should be able to make this work. And that all of a sudden becomes the expectation rather ridiculously.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.